All right, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak Broncos Podcast, and today I'm here to talk about why I think the Broncos can win the AFC West in 2025. But before we get into it, I just want to say, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. You can always follow me on Twitter if you like what I have to say on here at Kodiak Broncos, and hopefully, if you like what I have to say, you can leave a like on this video and subscribe, or you can always wait till the end. Maybe I'll have earned it. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the AFC West going into 2025. So my first point is that we are only more of a mismatch, okay? Listen, with all the additions we've made this offseason, we have become just more of a hard team to play against. And we were a hard team to play against besides, for Buffalo and Baltimore. But every other team, every other game, we were 100% fighting, competing in. And that was with a rookie quarterback. That was with a relatively thin roster. But listen, talking about our division rivals, let's just go case by case. So we played Kansas City as well as anybody else defensively. We really haven't been able to beat them in recent years, just because, for the most part, just because usually it's our offense, or this past year it was our special teams that let us down. The Chiefs are also going through some turmoil. They have an aging core. Like, I know Chris Jones is entering his age 31 year, I believe, at this point. Kelsey's going to be 35 years old, and they've already kind of been figured out on the offensive side of the ball. Their offense has taken mega steps back within the past 2 years, and just to be completely honest, even if they do add to their wide receiver room again, I just don't see us, I see our secondary being stronger than their receivers. And now that we have Dre Greenlaw, I think that we're going to be able to cover the middle of the field a lot better than we have been. And it'll make Kansas City not a very good drive-sustaining team. So third, Harbaugh's Chargers, they'll be very good. They'll be very tough to play against, but we'll be better equipped for our matchups this year. It's too often last year, and we'll talk about this in our next point as well, or in our next slide. We were burned by them. We were burned by them because over the middle of the field, we just, got caught in coverage. We got caught lacking. Our inside linebackers played terribly. So did PJ Locke, but we'll be better equipped, okay? We will be much better equipped. We're going to be on more of an even ground this upcoming year, and we're not going to have just complete jags like Gus Edwards and Stone Smart have career days against us. So fourth, Geno and Pete Carroll, they raised the floor of the team for the Las Vegas Raiders, but they really don't have the talent to compete within the division. Like Geno and Carroll, they're both really good, really savvy dudes at what they do. Geno is obviously a great journeyman quarterback, and Pete Carroll is definitely a floor raiser of the Raiders, who rebuilt the Seahawks in basically 1 year after making whatever it was in 2010, like 185 roster transactions within a year. That's absolutely absurd. But they really don't have the talent to compete within the division yet. They're going to get a great player at number 6, and it's going to make them a tougher team to play against, even more so than they already are with Brock Bowers and Max Crosby, who always seems to have a great day against us. But we're only more of a mismatch for them because we're only improving. And they're going to be a tough team to play against. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs or anything like that, but they're still probably going to be a below 500 team at best. Second, all of our big defensive liabilities got replaced. So during our big games, it just seemed like Barton, Sternad, and Locke were just exposed far too often, especially in key situations, like especially on third downs, especially in gotta have it territory. It felt like those guys were always picked on by opposing teams. Mainly, notably, the Chargers game, the Bengals game against Buffalo, against Baltimore. Those guys did not have good games as well. And that's why Greenlaw and Hufanga are going to make us so much better, because honestly, who are you attacking on our defense? Like, yeah, you can make an argument that we still need a nose tackle, but Greenlaw and Hufanga were great pickups for this offseason because, quite frankly, with our starting 11, we don't have a single hole. Like, we don't have a single hole. Like, maybe you could say that we need to bolster our depth at certain positions, which I won't entirely disagree with, but yeah, we still need to figure out interior defensive line against physical teams, against bigger teams, but Hufanga and Greenlaw, they will help us tremendously as well. Greenlaw is a perfect counterpunch to Kansas City's tight end heavy offense and the Chargers tight end mismatch versus us. So what I will say about Dre Greenlaw is, if he does not tear his Achilles in the 2023 Super Bowl, the Chiefs have no chance in that game. And I would say the difference between this past Super Bowl and the one before with the 49ers and the Chiefs is that Zach Bond this past year, he did not tear his Achilles in the second quarter because it was an absolute game changer what Kansas City was able to do when Dre Greenlaw was off the field. And the way I can compare Greenlaw is 49ers fans have kind of compared him to Valerian Nichushkin or Aaron Gordon, if you guys are Avs or Nuggets fans, where he is so much better. He just makes the team so much better around him, and I can't wait to see how he elevates our defense. He's going to be a great middle of field presence for us as well. Number 3, we're going to have a real third down offense. So listen, we were 18th in the league in third down conversion percentage. Granted, the percentage point from like 18 through 25 is not that substantial. It's probably within like 4 or 5. But we felt like we were like 47th, in my opinion, especially in the really important games. We need to be a more efficient, sustained offense rather than an explosive one. And that's really going to get rectified by the fact that we're going to draft a running back. We've already added Evan Ingram. We're going to add another tight end as well. And listen, I'm not worried about our third down offense against bad teams because we've shown enough on the offensive side of the ball to not be worried against bottom feeders that come in here and we just completely run it out of our stadium. We did that this past year, and we're going to have a much better team this upcoming year. So I'm not worried about that. But what I am worried about is against good teams. How do we counteract them? How do we counteract what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball? And listen, a running back who's not even on our roster yet, whether it's, we trade up for Genty, which is unlikely, but Genty, Hampton, Johnson, Judkins, Henderson, I know there's going to be a guy or two I've forgotten there, but a running back that's not even on our roster yet and a real answer at tight end with Ingram, it already just makes us so much better. It already makes us so much better in being a real, efficient, sustained attack. And listen, we have the second most 3-and-outs in the league in December. That's not going to happen again. That can't happen again. You can attribute some of that to the fact that Bo Nix was playing with a fractured spine. You could attribute that to the fact that he had turf toe as well. But listen, second most 3-and-outs in the league, that just can't happen, especially during the playoff push. I would like to see us be at the bottom of the league in 3-and-outs, and I would like to see us at the very top of the league in third down conversion percentage. I think that that's what's really going to take us from where we were this past year to being a Super Bowl contender, because I know that every team wants to get better on third down. I know that every team wants to be a more efficient offense, but that's what's going to separate us from being, where we were this past year to being a legit Super Bowl contender. Number 4, we will have an actual intermediate passing game. So I don't really know if we're done adding at the wide receiver spot. I don't envision us going there with our first round pick. Although if there is a prospect that they absolutely love, like Teteroa McMillan or Matthew Golden, then I don't see the Broncos passing on a wide receiver. But I can assure you, we're not done with tight end. Like even though we brought in Evan Ingram, if Arroyo was there in the third, Terrence Ferguson's there in the third, we're gonna take him there. And if the coaching staff really likes him, so Ingram, he just opens up the offense way more with a tight end option that teams actually have to respect, even if he's just out there doing cardio. Just the fact that teams have to respect him, unlike the dudes we had at the tight end spot this past year, like Kroll, like Adkins, like Burton, like Troutman. Like, those guys are going to go to the shadow realm because teams did not have to respect them as legit options. I think our tight end room finished with collectively 450 yards last year, which is just terrible. That's terrible. And what bewildered me talking about that was that I'm pretty sure that was not even the worst in the league. I think Indianapolis and the Giants had even worse tight end production than we did, but we had a real quarterback, so it's less of an excuse for that room as well. But this combined with a real run game will help us be a more efficient drive-sustaining offense. I've been saying all offseason on this channel that is what I want the Broncos to do. I want them to be a more efficient, not an explosive attack. And the reason I say that is because serious teams, they play a more possession-based style of football, and this will help us with that. Cincinnati, you look at them this past year, like, oh my goodness. Even though it doesn't matter if you're putting up like 39 a game, if you have a defense that can't stop them, if you can't sustain your attacks, like, and your defense is just getting completely run over, you're not a serious team. I just hate to say it. So for a team like us that is actually trying to adapt more to modern football and, the possession-based style where, all right, you're going to have like 10, 12 possessions a game. Other team, let's just see what you can do with them. This will help us with that as well. So number 5, all of these solved problems will make us better prepared for big games. Once again, I'm not worried about our team against the bottom feeders that come in here, or even the middling teams. Like, I do think we beat the Colts on the road next year. I even think we beat Houston on the road next year. But the glaring reasons why we didn't win against good teams this year, honestly, I think a lot of them can be traced back to the fact that we didn't have good depth or a lot of resources to fix our spots where we had holes. Like, PJ Locke was a starter because, well, he earned the opportunity. I'm not going to say he didn't. But we couldn't find any other viable competition because we had very limited resources. Same with Cody Barton and Justin Sternad. They were forced into game action, not because they were like great players beforehand or anything like that, even though they did give us some solid production this past year, but because we didn't have the resources to go out and get different guys to compete with them. Same with the tight end room. that room was basically predicated on a bet that Dulcich would be the guy that he was in 2022, and he just completely played himself off the roster. So this team, they massively overperformed expectations, even being on uneven surface with the salary cap. We were not on an even playing field building our roster last year. Even the past 3 years when we've had no second round pick, we didn't have our first round pick in 2022 or 2023 because we traded for Russell Wilson. But I'm just excited for 2025. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go Broncos country. I'm going to give a huge mile high salute to y'all, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.